Introduction. Computers that are built on the principle of classical physics are what anyone sees it in use today. There are possibilities to make computers based on the principle of quantum physics. Quantum physics differs from classical physics in many ways. There are not too many experts who can understand the principles of quantum physics to perfection. Even Einstein or Stephen Hawking are not just even halfway through in their understanding of the quantum physics and the related studies. The behavior of particles of matter in the excited states varies by far. With the advent of the quantum physics-based computers, there is surely going to be a revolution in the microprocessors' inventions sooner or later. DWave. This is the name of the first ever company that introduced the foremost of the quantum computers to the world. These company operations are backed by the NASA and the CIA too. It was the first ever firm that sold the quantum computer for about $10 million. Some of the main streams of industries where revolutionary changes can be brought in with the introduction of these types of quantum computers in the market will include the artificial intelligence, medicine, and the space explorations. These machines are radical, strange enough to make the users wonder about the usage and understanding the principle of operations of the quantum computers. Big data. Today, anyone lives in the world of Internet of Things and big data to bring in some real valuable changes to the lifestyle in the near future. With that said, if anyone is not sure about the right tool to use under these circumstances, then there is something special for anyone to consider a top priority. Changes are expected to happen in all these transactions online. List below shows the main changes to come in the future. First, credit card transactions can be made safer and easier. Second, searches for the genomes become easier just like the queries searches conducted online. Third, records of the phone calls. Fourth, social media exchanges. Fifth, retail transactions. Sixth, surveys conducted in the geology field. Seventh, maintaining achieves in the medicine field. Eighth, maintaining database in the geological surveys. Ninth, oil logs. 10th, drilling for water and oil logs. 11th, surveillance videos. 12th, reviews for movies and much other preferred entertainments and recreational activities. DWave Reputation. Some of the major companies out there who are rivals to the DWave are of the opinion that Dave has not come up with quantum computers at all. It is something similar to that, but promoted in the name of quantum computers. Yet, the technology can herald revolutionary changes. First, airplanes can be made safer to travel with trust. Second, individual voters' preferences can be understood better by spending enough time in studying the situation better for the campaigners through the abundant amount of marketing information obtained from the quantum computers. Third, hyper-personalized advertising is possible. That boosts the consumer's spending in any economy. That means based on the Q quantum computers there is enough possibility to grow the economy in any country for that matter. That boosts the GDP as well. Fourth, computations models that are made by the quantum computers in studying the patients in correlation with the actual cancer patrician identify people who have potential possibility to catch up with the ailment in the coming future. Even otherwise, the computer can identify the cancer patients at the earliest stages to give the right treatment and cure the patients composedly. Fifth, automatic driving. It is not tough to find the best of the drivers when anyone is using the bots with quantum computer software input. They are ideal enough to do the calculations at a faster rate, even forward left in the middle of heaviest traffic to ascertain the right solutions and come to the destination without any problem. Safer options are only given top priority, though. Amino acids mapping. DNA sequences are analyzed to perfection and identified better for their uniqueness. It makes the docs to discover those design superiorities at once. Using the burst advantage with the superiorities, docs can come up with better solutions. More effective medicines can be made with the help of these studies to cure patients with acute illness too. Qubits. Quantum computing. The future of computing essay. There is enough scope for researches to be done in this field of quantum physics and quantum mechanics. It is one of the evergreen topics this has ample to find and invent too. With that said, to store information in the quantized subatomic particles is not a new idea, but it existed since the long time now. There are people who believed that the possibilities are quite fairly positive enough to find something like the quantum computer in the near future. Yet the experts are of a totally different opinions though. They call it to be absurd in certain articles, and the resultant could be not up to the mark. There are chances for losing drag in heavy amounts in case if anyone is going to lose the charge in the matter. Remember, there are so many concepts that anyone is not sure about the behavior of matter in the quantized state. With that said, if anyone is going to see this particular route to succeed in your research in bringing up the most efficient computer system for outstanding computational benefits, and that is not possible with something about what anyone knows the latest. It means unless and until anyone are so masterful in your knowledge about this concept of quantum physics with their ability to comprehend things with clarity, anyone cannot come up with new ideas based on this technology which is just halfway through all now since the time of Einstein. It means anyone are not going in the right direction to learn and acquire knowledge at the earliest possible, but going to spend another hundreds of years to really get through with the best understanding of this particular auto mechanics. Quantum computing future benefits. It means the computers that are based on the quantum mechanics are something hypothetical for the next few centuries as well. This is the classical theory that is being presented by the modern-day researchers who are given an analogy to prove a point in this way. A few others are of the determined opinions that there are rich dividends that can be enjoyed with the research coming out to be successful. It means that drives the motivation from the scientists to spend enough amounts of time, effort and money to be spent in this channel with ambitious plans to find something that is really revolutionary in the history of mankind. Quantum computers are no more a virtual success though. There are private companies that are spending millions of dollars already to hire the best physics geeks of the world and try to exploit their knowledge and resources to identify the potential. Quantum physics experts are struggling, on the other hand, without being able to figure out anything under their microscope, as the behavior of the subatomic particles shows no big correlation in any experiments that are conducted in the controlled settings in any part of the world. Clarity is not there. Evidence are least trod have found any definite predictable unknown results. Most of the results known are already used in the manufacturing industries for very many purposes. The applications are worldwide. The usage of the applications in the present times has limited the researchers from putting in more initiative towards finding something better in the next higher levels, as they are quite complacent with what they are getting now as the heftiest of the packages. Quantum computer and DWave. From the days of Charles Babbage to all until now, the type of computers that have been introduced into the market is quite a lot. Without the intervention of the big computer companies, it is not possible to come up with some latest and the modern type of equipment that are being in use in the world market today. There were times when anyone used phones that are equal to the size of the brick. There were times when anyone was using the computers that are like television sets with the CRT monitor for a long time. Yet things have changed dramatically now. Anyone is not using the CRT monitors anymore. Anyone are using the LEDs and the LCDs. Anyone are using the latest type of handheld gadgets. Anyone are not involving ourselves in something that is quite tedious to handle, but using some of the posh gadgets that are comfortable for us to use with the best ease. The costs are also minimal today on top of all. That makes life easier. The results are being enjoyed by the common man just because of the reason that there is continuous ongoing research that is happening in every field in many parts of the world to come up with novel designs of improvisation. These are patented by the companies. These patents are valuable. In your patent is something that is equivalent to that of Nakamoto, then anyone is the founder of the Bitcoin system. That is how it goes, as the world can appreciate your earlier efforts and the vision that anyone had about the usage of something special like as Bitcoin in the world of financial trading. Changes are sure to come up in the future days too. How far anyone is capable of adapting to these changes, and in what ways, is what that determines the success in the long run. Adaptability is possible with the right types of timely inventions and findings that are come out every now and then. That makes the world a top-class place to live in for all the inhabitants of planet Earth. It is all about the curiosity to find more and more new things and start to use them in our lives. It is not there for everyone, though. There are hundreds of common men and women who are just happy enough to take life the way it is. They are not open to criticism about their methods of approach towards life. They are not considering anything new, in fact. They are just only living in their comfort zone. It is not wrong, but give a chances to those who are innovative in their mindset to come up with something solid and strong to be used as a versatile tool in the future for all of us. Chapter 1. What is quantum computing? Computational capacity is what that determines the efficiency of any machine that anyone are going to use for the needs locally or nationally or internationally too. If the computational needs of a city or the town are of the highest orders, the computer that is designated to serve the needful purposes must be equipped with the needful configuration to deliver what anyone wants, and also in time. This is the major reason why the computers are being made in varied capacities, companies, of making sure that anyone are using it up to your best needs and wants in particular. Quantized subatomic particles are one of the best options in that way to store memory in large quantities, as per the experts. This was not found recently, but it was an idea that is there since time immemorial. If the time is there, then why not use the quantized subatomic particles to come up with the dignified modern computers of the quantum kind? It is a million-dollar question of the hours. There are limitations. There are very many limitations not to make this idea feasible so far. Moreover, the usage is restricted to individual needs of what there is no need for the quantum computer at all. It is the analog computers and the scientific computers that will need something special like the quantum computers. The official usage or the individual usage will need meager computational data that can be handled well with the local servers alone. It is not necessary to do the calculation with the help of the quantized subatomic particles. So, what is the specialty about using the quantized subatomic particles? Remember, matter is composed of subatomic particles like protons and electrons or neutrons too. If the basic constituents are the excited state, then the quantized subatomic particles can be observed with a microscope. The electronic microscope reveals those patterns better. These quantized subatomic particles are capable of conducting charge to behave as electricity. This is learned in the classical theory of physics clearly. Quantized subatomic particles are seen not only there, but also in many other applications where light energy is being used extensively. Likewise, the usage of the quantized subatomic particles is quite extensive so far in varied applications that anyone seeing the industrial segment as well as in the households too. Light-emitting diode is one novel finding of the similar kind. The same effort is being put forward today in the computer technology too. It is being done with the sole aim that there will be fruitful results in the future to be appreciated by all of the users of the modern-day computers. The quantized subatomic particles can be the ideal choice to store data in massive amounts. Quantum computing explained. If the data storage in massive quantum is possible, then how about the massive losses of data stored in that way for so many related reasons? How about the reliability of the quantized subatomic particles used for storing data? How far could anyone trust on the new concept to be used in the premium applications like space research or industrial sector of varied capacities? This is what is under research. Guess, for instance, if anyone is sure about the massive number of data storing capabilities with the quantized subatomic particles. The next important question to remember will just be this. What if the user loses data in massive scale because of one or the other type of technical glitch? Is it possible to rely on the quantized subatomic particles to store data under all the circumstances? Can anyone retrieve data that is stored in the quantized subatomic particles as in a case of any mishap? Is it possible to come up with something really revolutionary enough to score a massive number of data to meet the whole need of the United States of America with the quantized subatomic particles? There are too many questions that are boggling our mind today, but the answer that is not available is the matter of concern. Computers are in use since so many years now. The computers and the chips of the micro level are being used in so many pieces of equipment today apart from the real computers. Digital units are in use in the industrial SIOPs to come up with right reporting system. There are so many updates that are being made to the public about the weather conditions through the scientific updates camping from the computers that are connoted with the satellites. Do quantum computers exist in 2016? The best advantage with these computers is that anyone are not going to suffer badly from the natural calamities just because of the very precise calculations that are being done by these types of computers to tell anyone what part of the city the hurricane would hit at what time. These are massive calculations done based on the varied parameters to make the losses minimal. At the end of the day, the complete losses due to the natural calamities cannot be limited or recovered or salvaged or protected. Yet the damage to the human lives can be maintained at a minimal rate provided if anyone are able to predict things well in time. This is the major reason why the satellites are deployed into the space to tell anyone about the varied ordinates precisely. The hurricane formation and the results are predicted well by these computers based on the coordinates presented by the satellite setup. The satellite is continuously watching the Earth and its surrounding environment to provide anyone the best feedback possible. When the feedback is used to do the calculations further, then the speed of the typhoon or the eye of the cyclone can be measured using the relevant tools. Even though these assumptions are not exactly right, the right safety measures can be done well within the time. So the big use of the quantum computers is not limited to the corporate calculating work alone, but the role is quite extensive enough to be used in a wide range of applications. Quantum computers for space research. The distance between the galaxies is not rightly predicted at any point of time using the usual electronic microscopes, as there are bound to be a lot of errors related to the focal length calculations respective to the space quadrants. If that is the case, how anyone would be in a position to ascertain the position of the Earth compared to the other cosmic coordinates? How does anyone know more and more about the role of the elements in the planet Earth, or track their path when anyone doesn't have any measure or means that is precisely accurate enough to know or learn about the alien movements? To know more and more about the special coordinates and to rightly ascertain the position of the black holes in the space, anyone needs the best of the computational techniques. Quantized subatomic particles could be the ideal option to do these calculations to precision. Quantized subatomic particles are selected to do this role just because of the inherent capacities of the quantized subatomic particles to behave so in a linear fashion in the excited state. First quantum computer. The event horizon is the zone that sucks in the objects passing by towards the black holes. How long is the event horizon, and how to make sure that the objects moving in this direction deviate from the gravity of shoe black holes. This calculation is possible to protect the old suns and stars to not be sucked into the black holes when the quantized subatomic particles are used. Yet these calculations are going to be used only when anyone are going to be successful in identifying the right type of energy to deviate such big objects from the aboriginal path. It is also possible only when anyone is able to observe special movements from such close view with the best benefit of the highly powerful microscopes. Space observatories can pave way for that to a certain extent. When it is said to be a space observatory, that can be placed anywhere on space. The good location would just be the northern tip of the Milky Way galaxy to make sure that the entire view of the universe is well observed using that space observatory. Yet how far these are feasible ideas to be implemented and in how many years is something that anyone needs to be concerned about as well. As an initial step, anyone can start with the identification of the novel technology to use the quantized subatomic particles to build the supercomputers. This can be of the best help to come up with better innovations in the upcoming future days. Aliens are having better control over us and having the best of the knowledge, not only just because of the fact that they are having the better lifespan, but also because of the advanced and powerful tools that they are using, just like our supercomputers. Quantized subatomic particles must be used to understand the usage. Quantized subatomic particles and the best use are well known to the aliens since time immemorial. They are using lots of techniques and technologies that are not yet even heard here on planet Earth for the humans to use the same. That is the reason why there are so many monuments in our planet Earth that are not even understandable for the humankind about the construction secrets. Different type of technology is used to build those stone monuments that are pretty strange and built by the aliens. They are highly advanced in using the quantized subatomic particles related technology. They are able to travel at a fast rate in the space, to travel far and wide in the universe just because of this reason. They are doing it safely and precisely too, at will. Quantized subatomic particle study can throw light on many other related issues too, that can make us understand about the dark energy and the dark matter better. The universe today is fully composed of this dark matter and dark energy alone, with only 4% of the other matter that is known to us who are hailing from planet Earth. They are well versed in the technology to use the varied innovative equipment just because of this one important breakthrough, study and understand about the cosmic space. So naturally, the idea here is to explore the real potential first of all, and then get motivated to spend more and more time in this particular channel to help our planet Earth gain significant positions in the rankings and ratings compared to the other alien worlds. Quantum Computing PDF. There are best benefits to being availed as a result too. If anyone are not using the best of the benefits, anyone are not only recognized as a civilized planet or community in planet Earth of the solar system, but also neglected by the other alien communities as a primitive type of organisms. It is quite true indeed, as anyone is just primitive like the tribal groups since so many years now compared to the alien populace. Still, anyone is only hunting for some valuable information to break the ice. Quantized subatomic particles can be the right area to focus and get superior machine assistance to identify the mysteries of the universe in the first place. When anyone is able to do that successfully, then there are immense chances to use the alien technologies for our own benefits too. There are dimensions in the space that anyone is not aware of even now. These dimensions can be tried better and implemented in the real calculations using the quantized subatomic particles-based computers that can shed light on many important details about the cosmos. There are quantum computers of the future that are capable of doing marvels. It is possible to calculate the interplanetary movements. It is possible to do computations that are out of our possibilities today using the quantum computers of the future. There are certain subjects in the science that are complex to understand for the students and the researchers that can be made easier to comprehend with the analysis that is done through the quantum computers of the future. How does anyone ascertain the results of the meteorological computer? If that is the matter of consideration, then the answer are multifold when anyone is using the quantum computers of the future. Is there a working quantum computer? There are enough amounts of scientists who believe that the quantum computers of the future are super capable. There are enough number of critics who are skeptical about this idea overall. The reasons are too many to be whimsical so. There are objections coming in from all the sides not to use the subatomic particles in the excited state, as there can be the imbalance that can lead to lots of mishaps eventually too. So all in all, the invention of any idea is to have the mixed responses from the populace. It is not so uncommon. That is what is happening in this case too when it comes to quantum computers of the future. The extent to what the quantum computers of the future are to be used will definitely have a say in the field of science and technology. The scope is unlimited, yet the ongoing research is at the elementary level to introduce or launch the quantum computers of the future sooner or later. The problem is not only from the researchers' side, but also from the political side. There aren't so many nations that are not allowing such researches to be conducted. There are so many developed nations and the developing nations that misjudge the outcome and offer resistance to the researches being conducted in this arena. Quantum computers of the future are sure to come. Regardless of the opposing countries and the critics, the quantum computers of the future are sure to be launched sooner or later. Quantum computers of the future are sure to reveal the future possibilities and the real potential of the human race to the alien world. The aliens must be conquered quite a lot in the past era. Yet it is our turn now to show them some kind of big revelations from our side while using the quantum computers of the future effectively to join the developed planets of the Earth. The mix and the exchange of technology from far and wide can only make the universe a better place to live for the future generations to come. Travelling from one planet to the other can also become easier, and the time taken to move from one place to the other can be relatively lesser in the upcoming years, with the advent of powerful technologies to be coming in the near future. Quantum computers of the future can only be the kick-start to the revolutionary findings of much another kind. What will quantum computers be able to do? The JET software is something a bit complex to be understood by the conventional computers of the classical kind. Instead of using the quantum computers of the future, it is really possible for us to introduce safer designs. The flight accidents can be cut down phenomenally. There is no need to cut down the number of flight trips deliberately regardless of the responsible positions one holds in the Congress or corporate life. It is good to take all the trips well in time with the best safety assured, as the usage of the quantum computers of the future becomes quite a routine process. It is just one application of the quantum computers of the future though. There are so many other applications for the quantum computers of the future that are meritorious too. Advantages of quantum computing. Guess, for instance, if anyone is going to use either quantum computers of the future for the space researches that are being conducted all over the world. The quantum computers of the future can stimulate the planet Earth and find the similar objects that are also located in the cosmos. Discovering new planets just like Earth can be so easier in that way. Anyone do not have to send signals to the satellites to identify the potential possibilities of life in Mars or any other planet when anyone are using the quantum computers of the future. Without any human loss or money loss, or even without any futile efforts, there are big potential possibilities to find what anyone wants from the cosmos using the quantum computers of the future. How will quantum computers change the world? Right from the safety of the airplanes to the research and technology, there are tremendous changes to come in the future with the advent of the quantum computers of the future. Large database management tasks become so easier. The cities will be well organized to execute the routine functions in a diligent manner, as the schedule of work is distributed to the varied departmental staff by the supercomputers. There are no leaders needed for the corporate affairs. There is no big expertise needed for corporate trading in the stock market. The quantum computers of the future can do it all to total precision to the predictions right. The software that is in use currently to do the predictions is not well designed to meet the varied needs and wants. It is not possible to meet the adverse situations using the classical computers, as the software input is limited for these kinds of computers with limitations in the computational abilities. Instead, when the quantum computers of the future are used, then there are lots of differences that are sure to bring in vast changes in the binary options trading platforms. Anyone can invest their hard-earned money in the most intellectual ways possible in the right platforms that are using the diligent quantum computers of the future. Chapter 3. Why would quantum computers be important? When the whole nation is organized in a better way, the functions that are part and parcel of the system are imperial in standards. No one can cheat the system. Those who work earn their money without any hiccups in the setup. Those who are not putting valuable efforts to strengthen the solidity will be deprived of wealth. This is the ultimate goal for any development communities to achieve naturally. This is not happening so far because of the inefficient in the network of operations. The operations are either hampered or tempered by the influential people who have the key to access the vital resources. Such havocs can be brought down. Such incidents will come down in numbers with the advent of the quantum computers of the future. All the areas that belongs to public administration is governed by the supercomputers. These are not obliged to any political advice or suggestions from any level in the national setup. These are not bound to be altered for any reason whatsoever. The coding is done by the experts in an unbiased manner so that the equal rights are being distributed to all the segments without any racial discrimination at any point in time. It means there are no recommendations. There are no references. There are things that happen with solid control from the top level where the quantum computers of the future are being used to do the needful. It means there are no key decision makers in any organizational setup. How many quantum computers are there? There are only a few quantum computers of the future that do the job altogether without any room for special negotiations. In case if any changes are to be made in the final decisions, then the committee or panel of human experts are supposed to look at the pros and cons and announce their final decisions based on the merits of the case presented to the human committee. If this is the real scenario, then the human errors that are supposed to hamper the present functionalities are nullified. The society is brought to a clean state. It means sanitation is assured for the public. It means safety is also assured for the public. It means the corrupted society is eradicated in no time. It means the wrong people are not going to use the loopholes in the system of legal operations. The public will have a say then and there in the voting setup. What are the 6 possible applications of quantum computing is what anyone needs to identify first before anyone goes ahead and chooses to implement the best of the ideas using the quantum computers of the future. Learn all about the quantum computing advantages and disadvantages by seeing the applications of quantum computing PDF. The only matter of concern could just be the understanding of the quantum physics and the related behavior for those who are not well versed in physics. Vocational students from the different background cannot be able to comprehend the idea behind the quantum computers of the future. For them, it is a must to see the quantum computing application spot to know how quantum computers will change the world. They can understand only then on what are the 6 possible applications of quantum computing. That is the reason why experts are of the unified opinion today on why quantum computers would be important. There are certainly pros and cons related to the affair always. The advantages and disadvantages of quantum computing are explained better in the applications of quantum computing PDF. Learn about the fact on how many quantum computers exist that anyone are sure to understand the benefits of quantum computing to a certain extent. If there are enough citations from the phrase, "How will quantum computers change the world?" then there are enough ways anyone can interpret the idea. What are the 6 possible applications of quantum computing that anyone needs to know, first of all, and why would quantum computers be important, is all that a beginner must know. Not all the scientists are good enough to understand the advantages and disadvantages of quantum computing, as there are so many critical points that are coming to the forefront to do the analysis in an unbiased manner. Applications of Quantum Computing PDF is the best presentation that gives anyone clarity. How many quantum computers exist currently and how do they operate is one another question too. There are surely benefits of quantum computing, and that is something obvious though. When anyone are going to save information or data for computation in the qubits, then anyone are not going to use the binary options but 2 qubits that can store a memory of 4 discrete assimilates. It means the computational ability is multifold compared to the classical computers. As the computations further can be intense, there are additional supporting frameworks that are added to the 4th level storage system in the case of quantum computers of the future. How does a quantum computer work? As it was mentioned earlier, the operations are reliant heavily on the qubits that can accept 2 units simultaneously. It can be 0 or 1, both can be memorized at a time while using the qubits instead of the conventional options. This is the major advantage when anyone are using the quantum computers of the future. Conclusion. With remarkable potential behind the revolutionary tool of the quantum computer, there are no doubts why researchers are eyeing to make the most out of their time, efforts and money to be spent in this channel of quantum computer studies. The faster the quantum computers hit the market, the faster is the revolutionary changes that are going to change the world. With the advent of big data, IoT and quantum computing to be used extensively in every industrial sector in the next decades, a life of the humans on the planet is certainly going to change massively to challenge many threats and havocs with better determination. Especially the meteorology department and the space research exploits are sure to bring in more and more value to the newer technologies to be introduced in the future.